dear learners, for this course on finite element analysis. In our module 4, we are discussing about analysis of heat transfer. Let us move on to our problem number 2, which states that for the brick wall shown in the figure, the inner surface temperature is 28 degrees Celsius and outer surface is exposed to cold air at minus 15 degrees Celsius. Determine the temperature distribution in steady state within the wall by considering two elements, one-dimensional heat flow elements. What is the heat flux through the wall? So we have a wall of 0.3 meter length. He is asking to model this problem with two elements, and he has mentioned us to calculate the temperatures at point 1, 2 and 3. As we all know, to solve the problems of composite walls, minimum two boundary conditions are required. He has given us a two boundary condition. The first boundary condition is specified temperature boundary condition at node 1, which is 28 degrees Celsius, and the second boundary condition is the convective boundary condition at right end with the convectivity transfer coefficient of 40 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Let us solve this problem. The step 1 is finite element model. He himself has clearly stated model the problem with two elements. So therefore, if I model it with two elements, the finite element model will be like this: node number 1, node number 2, and node number 3. So this is element number 1. We have element number 2. The length of these elements is given. The overall length is 0.3. You have to model it, let us take it as half of the overall length. So thereby we will get 0.15 meters and 0.15 meters. At node 1, we have specified temperature boundary condition. T1 is given as 28 degrees Celsius. At node 3, we have convective boundary condition where we have specified the values of convective transfer coefficient and ambient temperature. Moving on to our step 2, that is element stiffness matrix. The element stiffness matrix for element number 1 is only because of conduction, because there is no end convection for element number 1. So therefore, for element 1 we have only conduction mode of heat transfer. So we have the element stiffness matrix of conduction only for element 1. So if I substitute and simplify the corresponding values, I will get the element stiffness matrix of element 1 as area of the element, thermal conductivity of the element by length of the element 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So the values are, since the cross sectional area is not given, assume the cross sectional area as unity. The thermal conductivity is known to us, which is 0.7 for both the elements. Length is 0.15 multiplied by 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So simplifying which, I will get the element stiffness matrix of element 1 as 4.67 minus 4.67 minus 4.67 and plus 4.67. Next, moving on to the element stiffness matrix of element 2. So for element 2, if you clearly observe, we have conduction plus right end convection. So therefore, if I use the formula of conduction plus convection at right end. So from the formula of right end convection and conduction, we have area of the element, thermal conductivity by length of the element 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 plus the rated convection is given by Hn into area 0 0 0 1. So if I substitute the values and simplify, the stiffness matrix of element 2 will be cross sectional area is unity, thermal conductivity is 0.7 for both the elements, length of the element is 0.15, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 plus convective transfer coefficient is 40, cross sectional area is unity 0 0 0 1. So if I simplify, the element stiffness matrix for element 2 will be 4.67 minus 4.67 minus 4.67 44.67. So this completes the element stiffness matrix for element 1 and element stiffness matrix for element 2. Next, moving on to our step 3, that is global stiffness matrix. The order of the global stiffness matrix for analysis of heat transfer problem is n cross n, where n is number of nodes. This problem has 3 nodes, so therefore the order of global stiffness matrix is 3 cross 3. Now the rule for assembling is already known to us. K11 of element 2 should be added to the K22 of element 1. So if I do that, I get the global stiffness matrix as K, the global stiffness matrix will be equal to 4.67 minus 4.67 4.67 plus 4.67 minus 4.67 0 minus 4.67 44.67. So this is the global stiffness matrix for the given problem. Next, moving on to our step 4, that is element load vector. Coming for the load vectors to this problem, we don't have the heat flux. None of these element is getting the heat flux to it, or heat flux is not at all moving out of the wall. Therefore, the load vector due to heat flux is not required for this problem. No heat flux, and also there is no internal heat generation in this brick wall, so therefore no heat generation. And coming for the end convection, this problem does not have left end convection, but it has only the right end convection. So therefore no left end convection, and we have only right end convection. For any problems in composite walls, one should check for these 4 load vectors. These 3 load vectors are not given for this problem, only we have right end convection. So therefore calculate the load vector due to right end convection. So using the formula for right end convection, the formula for right end convection is given by H at right end is equal to H end area times T infinity 0 1. So if I substitute the values and simplify, H value is known to us, which is 40 times the area is unity and T infinity is minus 15 0 1. So if I simplify, I will get the value as 0 and minus 600. So if you observe, the right hand convection is for element number 2. The node numbers for element 2 are 2 and 3. So therefore this is at node number 2 and this is at node number 3. For element 1 we don't have any loads. So now the global load vector for this problem will be same as the element load vector, because for element 1 we don't have any loads. So therefore the global load vector will be F is equal to, at node 1 we don't have any load, at node 2 we don't have any load, at node 3 we have a load of 600. This is at node 1, this is at node 2 and this is at node number 3. So now move for step 6, that is equilibrium equation and application of boundary condition. If I do that, I will get the equilibrium equation is given by global stiffness matrix into nodal variable vector will be equal to the load F. The global stiffness matrix is known to us, which we have already calculated, which is 4.67 minus 4.67 0, and the nodal variables are T1, T2, T3, which we should compute for this problem, whereas the global load vector is 0, 0, minus 600. Elimination method of handling the boundary condition. The boundary condition for this problem is T1 is given to us, which is 28 degrees Celsius. So therefore, eliminate first row and first column. As I explained in our previous lecture, we should multiply the column which we should get rid of and take it to right hand side, since the value of T1 or the temperature is not equal to 0, like the cases in analysis of bars and analysis of dots and substance. Since the value is not equal to 0, multiply the values of the column what we should get rid of within the matrix B and take it to RHS. Now if you clearly observe, we are left with row 2 and row 3. This term is eliminated only in its column, but it is active in its row. This element is eliminated only in its column, but it is active in its row. Therefore, multiply these two with their corresponding term in the matrix B and take it to right hand side. If I do that, I left out with 9.34 minus 4.67 minus 4.67 44.67. The temperatures to be determined are T2 and T3. This is equal to, so now multiplying 4.67, we will multiply with T1, taking it to right hand side. I will get 4.67 into T1, that is minus 4.67 into 28. So I have 0 multiplied with T1, take it to RHS, I will get minus 600 minus 0 times T1, that is 28. So here I already have 0, so it should be 0 minus 4.67 into 28. 0 minus 4.67 into 28. An important point to be noted down is that I missed out the sign here. This is minus 4.67. So this will be minus 4.67. So if I take it to right hand side, this should be plus 4.67. Correct the sign of this term which is missed out. This is minus 4.67. So therefore I have minus 4.67. Multiplying minus 4.67 with T1, I get plus 4.67. Now solving this equation with two unknowns, I will get the values of T2 and T3 as T1 is known to us, which is 28 degrees Celsius. So solving which I will get T2 as 7.6858 degrees Celsius and the value of T3 is minus 12.628 degrees Celsius. So this is the answer for temperature distribution in the brick wall. Next, he has asked us to determine the heat flux through the wall. So since we are doing this steady state analysis, I can use conduction equation for element 1, which is same as the conduction in element 2, which is same as the convection from the right end. So the heat flux for this problem can be computed with the help of conduction matrix for element 1, which is minus k dt by dx, which is nothing but minus k of temperature of final node minus temperature of initial node divided by length of the element. So q is equal to minus, if I use element 1, the value of k is 0.7, final node for element 1 is 2, that is T2 is 7.6858 minus initial node for element 1 is 28 divided by length of the element is 0.15. I will get the value of Q as 94.8 watt per meter square. Also, if I want to verify the answer, I can do the flux due to right hand convection. If I do that, I will get equal to H times temperature difference, that is T3 minus T infinity. So the value of H is 40, T3 is minus 12.628, T infinity is minus 15, minus of minus will become plus 15. So therefore the value of Q for this also 94.88 watt per meter square. So from this it is clear that the rate of heat flux, so heat flux through this bit wall is constant because we are doing steady state analysis. So this is the solution for the given problem. The temperature distribution in the wall is T1 is 28 degrees Celsius given to us, T2 is 7.685 degrees Celsius, T3 is minus 12.628 degrees Celsius. Whereas the heat flux for this problem is 94.8 watt per meter square. That's all from this lecture.